All right, hi guys. So this is the rattle project. This is step number, wait, hold on, 3, 4, 5, 5, step number 5, okay? We are going to be adding additional pieces onto our little rattle head. I found some foam here. I'm hoping that this is easier for you to actually see what I'm doing now. Okay, so on the rubric, I put that I wanted you to do coils, okay? And this right here was a little slab that I added. This right here was a little triangular piece of clay as well. So you can make little coils, and these right here were bits and pieces of my uh, some of pieces that I already rolled out. Um, and what I want you to remember is that you can use these little pieces as long as you keep them hydrated. So you need to make sure that you keep those pieces hydrated with a piece of wet paper towel over top of it. You can stick that back in a baggie. There's all sorts of stuff you can do to keep that nice and hydrated. If you don't keep them hydrated, well, they dry out and then they don't work very well for you anymore. So I'm going to make tiny little coils, and I'm going to add them right here for some cheekbones. Okay, so I have to divide this in half, and I'm going to make this into two. Oops, that's a little chubby right there. I'm going to make that a little bit skinnier there. Okay, so I'm going to divide this in half, and those are going to be my tiny little cheekbones that I'm adding in. It's just going to give the facial features some more dimension, because right now her face is fairly flat, and I really do want it to have a little more dimension to it. Dimension meaning, shape. Okay, so I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to score right here. These are going to be, and I'm going to score extra because, well, I want extra, and you can see that I actually went through and changed some settings on my computer, so hopefully you can see things a little bit better. That'd be really great. Okay, so I'm going to come through. I've got that right there. I'm going to put a little score onto these, because you only score the pieces that you want to stay attached. Do you know what that means? You need to score everything. If you don't score everything, it doesn't stay. It blows off, and well, that really stinks. Okay, so I take my water. I've got my water cup right up there. See my water cup right here, but you don't need to see it. It's there. And I put my water right there, and then I'm going to put some water right here and some here. Okay, and then I'm going to come through, and I'm going to put that right here and right here. Okay, so that looks stupid. Totally does. And that's okay, because we're not done with it yet. Now you have to come through, and I would suggest using a wooden tool or your fingers, whatever you need. And I want you to come through and blend them down. Okay. Clay and working with clay and sculpting is all about basically pushing your clay around. Okay. So I come through. If you don't blend these in, well, they look crazy town, and we want them to blend in. Okay. So I got a little extra clay right there. Just flick that off. Then I come through and I squished. So I started with scoring. I added my little my coil on. Okay. Now, if you look there, can you see that? She has a cheekbone now. Okay. That's what we want. We want to start creating the foundation for the face. If you don't have a good foundation, then it just looks really flat. And well, that's not very decorative looking. Okay. So I come through here. I use my little tool. I could use my fingers too, but my hands get so dry from all of the clay and everything. I didn't score enough over here. Put a little water right there. The scoring gives it a good bond, and the goal is that it does not explode off of your project, because sometimes if you don't water, if you just score and don't add water, you're creating air pockets in your actual the pieces that you added on, and then it just blows up. And well, that's a bummer, because then your project dies. And we don't want our project to die. All right, so, and I can literally like squish the clay around. We've got these nice dominant cheekbones now. We've got our little nose. I need to add some lips on. I'm not going to carve anything in yet, because, well, I don't want to do that yet. Like, I don't want to carve like my nose details or anything like that, because I want to get the foundation actually constructed. Okay, so now you can see I've got like cheekbones here. I've got my chin, my nose, my brow ridge. I may come through and add a little bit more. I'm not sure. But now I'm going to take my little foamy thing away, because I wanted you to be able to see. I'm going to add some hair to the top of her head. Okay, and I have these pieces right here. And I'm going to put this kind of like this and this like this. All right. It's going to come to like a widow's peak in the front. Okay. So, but what I have to do, because I want this to actually stay on, and if I don't do this, well, it all just blows off. So I'm going to score all of this. Now I'm going to pause my video and I'm going to do this, but I'm scoring all of this. I'm going to score way past the point to where I think I don't want to do it anymore, but I'm going to do the whole head because I'm going to add a little bit of clay everywhere. Okay, so I'm scoring everywhere. All right, so I'm going to pause for a couple seconds. So I have scored the entire head area. I'm going to add some hydration, which is water, to the clay here. Okay, got some water added on. That's creating a slip. I scored my hair pieces, the first bits of pieces that I was going to attach. I'm going to create some balls to put on the top too. Okay, so I have that, and then I'm going to come through. And I'm going to go like this and make sure that it actually looks okay in the front. Okay, do I have it? I'm going to go a little bit more this way. So it goes, you know, extra lift. Okay, so we've got this one right here. Okay. And then I'm going to put this one right here. And I am going to blend backwards, not forward like I did last time. Like I'm not going to bring this too much forward because I want it to actually kind of look like hair a little bit, okay? And it doesn't look like hair right now because, well, it's just a coil attached to my little head here. And I'm going to add a few more bits and pieces through here. So I'm going to pause for a couple seconds and I'm going to work on that. Okay, so I have come through and I've made some balls, assorted size. I'm going to chop up these. I'm just going to show you how I go about doing that, okay? So I take and I chop up my clay, create some balls, kind of flatten them some because these are going to be curls on the top of my person's head, okay? Flatten that one as well. Flatten. And I might not use all of these, I'm not sure because I'm being quick about this. Okay, so I've got that. Score those up. Just gouging it. Make sure you score it good because the only pieces you want to stay attached are the ones that you're going to score. Can't say that enough. Okay, so I have my head back here. Okay, I'm going to push these off to the side because I don't really need them right now. Okay, I'm going to put her head kind of like this, rest it some. And now I'm going to come through and just like I did with the other parts, I'm going to come through and I'm going to blend this in just a little bit. Okay. Make sure you've got your hydration on there because you don't want to create air bubbles. Air pockets are bad news. They just blow up your project, okay? So I attach these. Remember, if you let your project dry out, you can't attach these bits and pieces, okay? So you've got to make sure that you maintain the hydration in your project. If you let it dry out, you're just not going to be able to do this because it's going to be bone dry or it's going to be firm leather hard. And firm leather hard is much harder to work with than, say, soft leather hard or medium leather hard. I think I like working medium leather hard is my favorite stage because you can do more with it. Okay, so there's the start of her hair, okay? I'm going to add my little balls on top of this as well, but I'm going to score all of that, okay? So move that out of the way. I'm going to score again because, well, I want to make sure that my areas are being, scored well. And I'm only going to pretty much add this on the top part of her head, okay? And I'm going to dip my little balls of clay into the pot. And I'm going to stick them on. These might not be blended quite so much. I pretty much want these just on the top portion. I kind of want it to look almost like a nest in the end. So we'll see where I get with that. Right now, I'm just adding my curls onto the top of her head. Okay. They're sopping wet. That one had water all over it already. Okay. So I've got that started. I'm going to add a few more. I will probably add a little bit of something to the back of her head, but that's that stage right there. Okay. And we're going to go through and blend, and I'm going to probably add a little bit more onto that, and I have to sculpt them. So they're attached. Great, wonderful. Do they look great? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. And that is a-okay, all right? Because right now we are just in the process of creating, not finishing. We're in the process of that. Okay, so that's her hair. I'm going to add my little birds eventually too. I'm going to finish adding these on. And this is a process. This is not finished by any stretch of the imagination. I may add some more as well. I want this one right here. Right there. Okay. So you can see this is very slick now. I'm going to make sure that I'm keeping it scored so my pieces stick on extra good. Okay. I probably will create some more, and I'm going to add a coil back here as well. But I'm going to pause my video again because I don't want it to be too long. So pause. Okay, so I've added the rest of the ones in the back, and now I'm going to come through here and I'm going to add the back of her hair. So I watered, and I'm going to add this in. Hopefully I'm not squashing her face too bad, but I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. And I'm going to blend up like this. And I want it to look a little bit like a hair, the back of a hair, or the back of a hair. That doesn't make any sense. I guess it is like the back of the hair. Okay, so, oh good, it's not squashing her face. That's a good thing. Okay, so I come through, I use my tool. It's giving the illusion that there's a full head of hair on there, but there's really not. It's just a little coil that I blended up, so it gives the illusion that there's hair there, but it's really just a coil that's been added on. Okay, so and then I smooth this up. I can make this as subtle as I want it to be, but I want it to keep a little bit of that edge there. And her ears are covered by her hair. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so I've got the head right here. I've added some decorative pieces right here, little curls, but I have to go through and actually make them look like curls. Okay, so I've added these bits on. I've added her cheekbones on. I should add her lips on too. So for the lips, you literally are just going to add tiny little bits of clay. I have a couple of references. I will actually put those on. They're step-by-step things that I found online, and they're actually just pictures. So don't make the lips too big, because if you make the lips too big, well, they look kind of crazy. Not big in the sense of that they stick out really far. So you can come through and take a little bit of clay like that. It's kind of stuck. Hold on. There we go. Even if it feels like that was stuck and I had to like pry it off with my fingers, if you go ahead and just leave that on there because it feels like it's stuck really good, it's not stuck, guys. I can tell you right now. Once it fires, it just falls right off. I don't know why that is, but it's just not. You didn't score it. So I've scored her lips. Now she looks like she's got what would that be? Stitches across her lips. Okay, she does not. And I'm going to score the little lip parts that I'm adding on. I'm going to be real careful. Paper clips or toothpicks would be great for this scoring right here. Okay, add a little water right here, a little water right there. It was already pretty squishy. Okay, so I've come through, and now you want to be really careful when you do the lips. All right, the bottom lip is typically bigger than the top lip, and I can carve into this some too. Okay, so I've got my lips right there. They look a little funky. That's okay. I would say take some sort of a sharp tool. A knife would probably be good. Make sure it's not coated with clay, because if it's coated with clay, well, it just doesn't work all that well. Come through. You've got to create a division between top and bottom lip. If you were here and had my tools, it would definitely help. Okay, and then I come through and I go deeper. You could do this with a knife. I don't have a knife at school because, well, you can't have weapons in school. Okay, I'm gonna come through, and you can carve away if something feels or looks too big, you just carve it away a little bit, okay? And then when you think about, and I would say have a reference when you are working on this, okay? Because if you have a reference, it's gonna work so much better if you're looking at what a pair of lips actually look like. So I'm gonna come through here, add a little bit of a divot right here, and then I'm gonna come through, and I'm going to push up a little bit, push up a little bit. And you literally just keep playing with the lips until they, oops, I just, see, that's what happens when you've got nails. I just literally gouged my poor girl's face. Okay, so this is gonna take longer than what I want this video to be. So I have started my lips. You can see, oh, they actually look pretty good on that. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it's the start. I'm gonna play with these a whole lot more. She's starting to look kind of like a Greek statue, you know, from like the Hellenistic time frame. Okay, so this is the start. So what I want you to do in this lesson, you are to create your cheekbones, your lips, add your hair on, anything like that. Okay, so that's the end of this video. There are definitely more to come. You are not done. This is a process. It's not a one and done. It's a multiple step process. So when you put this project away, what do you need to do? You need to wrap it up. You need to make sure that you have some hydration in that bag so your project doesn't dry out. You need to make sure that the bag that you have this project in is long enough to where you can knot it up to where there's no air coming in and out. If you are using a Walmart bag, a Walmart shopping bag, or a Target shopping bag, or a Kroger shopping bag, those are not appropriate bags. They do not work. You need a garbage bag, like the garbage bag that I showed you. Okay, so this is the 5th step in the process. More to come. All right, bye guys.